Anyway, let's jump into game number 2 here. As down to the bottom right-hand corner, we do have IEM NesTea going to be spawning as our blue Zerg.
And up in that top left corner, has been not really posting many good results lately, but has already demonstrated one incredible one by taking the game off NesTea today. It is going to be EG PuMa.
So, PuMa, I'm slightly shocked that he was able to take that first game. It was very, very well done by him. And again, it really does feel like Atlantis Spaceship is maybe PuMa's map. He seems to perform extremely well on it, seems to have good decision making, seems to know which attack paths to take.
I mean, just really nice things where he'd move out along the entrance to his center expansion, and then he'd cut down to that backdoor side and move up.
Yeah.
So the whole time he's covering that center expansion. It made it very hard for NesTea to move in. Whenever NesTea did try to move in, there are already units there, already the bunker there. NesTea immediately moving out. PuMa, I just don't think really does anything other than one barracks expands, to be honest.
Well, it's worked out for him.
And there it looks like the barracks now is under construction. Nothing has been too revealed from PuMa. He hasn't done any sort of gassing yet. NesTea is advancing forward to take his own expansion.
Yep, and for now, with that expansion going down, he is, I mean, there's probably, this being Ohana, it's not as big a map as Atlantis Spaceship is. So if he were ending up to go for some kind of very quick third hatchery like he did on that map, once again, that would be a bit of an overstep on a map with such short rush distances.
Oh yeah, I mean it would be totally ballsy and kick-ass for him to do it, but it would probably even lose to a one barracks bunker rush play. PuMa now pulling back, pretty much putting his hand face up at this point. Nothing going to be too surprising or out of the ordinary.
Yep.
So I want to talk a little bit about that beautiful game. I don't know if you got the chance to see where the MVP was up against Targa's huge Roach Ling play, and MVP answered by transitioning to mech, and it just destroyed this this weird all-in follow-up from Targa.
Yeah,
it was a really, really cool sort of sight to see, and especially on a map that has these smaller rush distances, these smaller to control chokes. I really think that, I mean, I'm honestly rooting for mech at least one more time.
Well, I mean, whenever I'm going into mech, and whenever I see mech in this matchup, unless you're the very tip top of Terran, I don't feel it's too amazing. I'm a big fan of Thor Hellion. I think Thor Hellion's pretty cool. Yeah. But it's very hard to make it work on all the fronts that it needs to. The harassment initially, to be able to lead yourself nicely into the mech Thor Hellion composition, and then being able to really cover all your angles from there on.
I mean, as much as I love the mech play, it looks like we are seeing PuMa get ready to do kind of a standard factory there. And again, this is the time when you would ordinarily want to sneak in another command center. This is when players really like to do this big old Hellion Banshee play. And there's the reactor now going down. PuMa's not doing anything that would violate his usual style. Oh, yes, we're seeing something slightly different. 2 more barracks going down. Okay, let me tell you possibilities, and I want to talk about hopes.
Okay.
Possibilities could just go Marines and then swap this factory's reactor right here onto a starport, do something a little normal. But I hope we're going to see a really big Hellion Marauder play.
Hellion Marauder play would be very cool, but I haven't seen it for a long time. The last time I saw it was, actually no, I mean MKP did do it on Teldry Malta once or twice, but I'm pretty sure I've seen him prior to that, later than that even, my apologies. So, could happen. I haven't seen, is PuMa an advocate of that kind of style? I really haven't seen it.
Generally don't see that, but what do you know? There's 2 tech labs going down a reactor. He might actually just be doing a fast stim combat shield push. I mean, either way, NesTea is gearing up for an early third base. So he will be doing something kind of similar to what he did in the last game, but there's a Marauder and there's the stim. So It's going to be a defensive difficulty for NesTea.
Yeah, the Hellion Marauder Marine can be very, very strong indeed. NesTea does have that 6 queen style out right now, and it's actually something that I haven't seen much of recently. And normally it's just 4 queens. Normally people will say, hey, well, if I don't get 6 queens, if I just go for the defense with 4, then I can get my third a little quicker because 300 minerals, derpy derp derp. But 4 queens on defensive, it's pretty good against this style at least, potentially.
But, you know, I love seeing PuMa do this so much because this is exactly what is giving tons and tons of Zergs the real trouble. It's not this tiny, hesitant, make 4 Hellions and then just hope we can get to 3-3 Marines and win that way. No, it's just barreling down the front door. Right now, PuMa has no third. He has no extra geysers here. He doesn't have his engineering bays, and that's still okay so long as he does enough damage with this Hellion Marine Marauder push.
NesTea's playing this very nicely in terms of not transferring down to his third too early. He knows the threat is there. He's spotted the Hellions. He's happy to just sit around on his 2 base. His hatchery's finished, that's fine. And from there, he's just continuing to get that creep spread going so that the defense can be a little bit more easy when he transfers to that third. So I like that from NesTea.
NesTea has even spotted everything. He's seen these add-ons in the center of the main base. I don't even think that matters that much because PuMa has incredible control, has a nice composition, some Marines, some Marauders. There's the 5 queens, all beefy and up at the front, and he's still going to swing around and try to go for this third base. Wow, he's extending way onto the creep.
Yeah, very, very much so. He needs to be able to try and somehow find himself a good position here. Stim is going to finish up in 4 seconds, so that is going to be very, very useful indeed. Nice transfuse there to be able to keep one of those queens alive. Not able to land a second transfuse on that one, but another one does go down. Zerglings get decimated by this force here.
PuMa.
With the reinforcements, oh my good god, he's doing so much damage at this point.
Oh, but it looks like NesTea gets just the amount of units he needs at the last second, and most of the queens don't even die, and oh my god.
Wow.
I was talking non-stop about how much I like this kind of play coming out of Terrans, and PuMa's just sort of wishing I built a third command center.
Dude, NesTea, man, he doesn't, those holes that are normally there for other Zergs, they are not there for him. PuMa was just shut down, and so much of that damage that he was dealing was completely negated by those transfuses. So he was killing all the queens like, yeah, it's gonna die, it's gonna die, it's gonna die, great. And he's, oh, it didn't die, fantastic. So much kind of unit retention in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the big important aspects of the Queen. It operates unlike the other Zerg unit, where for the most part, it just takes damage and stays alive. It's not like Zerglings, where you're guaranteed to lose at least some number of them. It's very difficult to retain those smaller Zerg units, but now NesTea going into NesTea mode, building up all them drones, 15 coming out all at once, so he's going to pop over 70 drone count.
Yep, as we have the 1-1 finishing up in just a second for him. Meanwhile, only the +1 on the way. There we go. There's the second engineering bay, as well as the armory going to be going down for him in just a second here to be able to get those upgrades out quickly that he will sorely need if this gets a little bit out of hand from the camp of NesTea. And he's mixing in quite a few more banelings here for a potential defense. Or, well, I mean, does he have, yeah, he has centrifugal hooks on the way as well, so he could quite easily get aggressive if he wanted to.
I mean, right now, PuMa's in an awkward position because he still has not started tank production. So this means 2 things. For one, he can't do a big Doom push for quite some time. And for 2, he has to do these kinds of pushes by ground. He absolutely must push out with some Marine Marauder. And look, again, he's still built more Hellions. He needs to do something with a mobile force, considering he can't get a strong immobile force for a long time. So he's scanning and picking off as much creep as he can, trying to get into these little awkward spots where he can lift up if he needs to. But right now, I mean, NesTea has 5 hatcheries out right now, is producing so many Zerglings.
Yep, and those Zerglings are looking to get a bit useful here as they do force PuMa to retreat from this location up at the 4th. So, I mean, NesTea in this situation could quite easily establish that 4th and go to even more hatcheries here. But right now, PuMa, like, waning in terms of an army supply. He doesn't really have that big an army against 113 Zerglings, day 9.
Gosh, NesTea is literally going only Zergling at this point in time. And there seems to be really nothing that PuMa can do about it. Oh, it's no longer only Zerglings. And he's even getting the ventral sacks. He's getting drops. He's not even going to wait for 2-2. It looks like he is just going to bust down the front door, and I think it is going to look beautiful.
may end up doing so indeed right now. There is a drop being geared up for PuMa going down to the left-hand side, but wait a minute, he's just going to push straight into the front here, connecting with so many Banelings, and he's going to push. Wait a minute, they're actually bottled up there for just a second. All these SCVs coming off the line, trying to soak up what they can, but they get decimated as well.
And there, it looks like all the Banelings roll up. PuMa's going to try to do the best control that he can, but with 5 hatcheries building only Zerglings, there is nothing that PuMa can do. This is awesome to watch the style. So we're seeing that in NesTea. He responded to that early aggression by just swatting it aside with a bunch of roly bombs.
Once a Zerg gets this far ahead and they like instinctively know they can just get away with this, it's ridiculous to watch and witness. So much damage. There you go.
There's
GG.
a good game.